The problem the younger generation is going to have and great-grandchildren is people aren't praying like they used to, so the prayer is not any prayers to ride on anymore. People too sophisticated bow their knee before God and to pray for those things. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to make it happen myself. And if I make it happen myself, then I'm responsible to get myself out that jam I got myself into. That's why a lot of times people do their own mission and vision, and it won't come to anything. But if you do it in terms of what God has for you, it's going to come to something. And so the parent should then bless the child. You pronounce favor over that child as Jacob did. You can look at Genesis chapter 48, verses 15 and 16, and see the blessing that he gave to them. I'll just read it briefly in 48, 15 and 16. Then he blessed Joseph and said, "May the God before whom my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, walked, the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this day, the angel who has delivered me from all harm, may he bless these boys. May they be called by my name in the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and may they increase greatly upon the earth." Isn't that you even get what a father does? If you look at the ancient reason for marriage and things, one of the reasons for marriage was to legitimize who the child was. Marriage legitimized the child. It's a new phenomenon in the 20th century, or started in the 19th century, where you get married for love. That's only a recent thing. You get married for love. So when I say I fall out of love, I can divorce her because I fell out of love with her. Whereas before you got married, because it was a purpose to marriage, you were going to procreate. And I'm going to procreate, I'm going to legitimize these children by giving them the name that I have. Because you don't want somebody with your name walking around out there and not doing right. And so if I legitimize the child and give them the name, I'm going to make sure that child comes out right and is going to do the things that need to be done. Other cultures still have the old-fashioned view of marriage, where you get married. For example, in India they say first they get married, then they fall in love at a later point in time. You have 4 types of love, and I can get into them all. We marry a lot for eros love, romantic love, physical love. That love that we have, eros love, that love can die. Because eventually the shape might go away, and you don't like what you look at anymore. Eventually the face that's wrinkle-free gets some wrinkles in it. Eventually all the hair that you love might fall out and things. Eventually all the stuff that you used to like will go away. But if you marry with what? The love of Christ, which is the agape love that he has, you're going to love unconditionally regardless. So even if some weight is gained, you want to look and say, I still love so-and-so. Even if everything isn't in the perfect position it used to be, you will say, I still love so-and-so. Even when they don't act right all the time, you can forgive them and come back to, I love that person. And you're going to go back to it. And that's what God has designed for marriage. That's the love he has for the church. That's why he calls the church his bride. I'll never give up the church, he's saying. I'm going to never divorce it. I love the church so much, I'm going to give the church with eternity with me and heaven with me. I love the church so much, Christ is saying, I'm going to die for the church. It wasn't enough for him to make a statement that I love you. He sealed his work of what? Dying on the cross. It wasn't enough. He had to say, he couldn't just say, I love you. He had to go and stretch his right hand out, and stretch his left hand out, stretch his left leg out, and his right leg out, and let them put nails in his body. Because he said, I'm going to show him how much I love you. You think I love you this much, Peter. James, you think I love you this much. John, you think I love you this much. But I'm going to show you how much I love you. You can curse me and pretend like you don't know me, and I'm going to still die for you. You can talk bad about me when you're amongst the crowd and leave me and desert me, and I'm going to still get up on that cross and die for you. You can do everything to me. Put all the sin of the world on me. Put lying on me, cheating on me. Put hatred on me. Put jealousy on me. Put anger on me. Put rebellion on me. Put everything on me. And I'm going to still get up on that cross, he said, and die for your sin. That's some great love that God has for man. That's an unconditional love. I don't care what the conditions are, he's saying, I'm going to still keep on loving you. Because God's going to just love you to death. That's how God even gets you saved. He doesn't hate you, he just keep on loving you to death. And just wait on you. He just loves you and wait on you come around. I'm just keep on loving you till eventually you notice I love you, then you can come forward and love me back. You don't got enough sense to love me in and of yourself, so I'm going to love you first. And once I love you, you can just respond to that love and reach out and get saved because of my love. There's got to be a great God somewhere if he got that level of love. Can't even comprehend the level of love that he got. How How much love does he have for you? God, so much love for you. He didn't just see fit you got saved. He saved your children and your grandchildren. He got so much love for you. What did he do? He got so much love that he's going to make sure down the line great-grandchildren go on and get saved. So much love. That's a loving God. God blesses us over and over again and is good to us. And so we talked about how the Father, he makes positive, life-giving statements to the child. Speak positivity to the child. Some of the curses that a lot of times we have as African Americans, as far as males, is rage. Black women, a lot of times we have rage. Normally you have an inward rage, and a lot of times it just burns and burns, because a lot of the rage is over. You weren't given positive, always life-affirming statements. You normally learn to raise a child, black male, negativity. Don't do this, don't do that. You don't affirm anything positive. You normally wait for when something bad happens. Shouldn't have done that. That was dumb. That was stupid. That was such and such. And normally as a black male, you just internalize your rage. Women are much smarter, I'm convinced, because women, when they're angry, women will say it, and they express it. And then they're healthier, and they go on, they're healthier about it. They'll just say it and express it, get it out. We internalize it, get stress, high blood pressure, ulcers and things, because that's what it means they tell you to be a man. Don't express your emotion. Only emotion you ever express is hate and anger. Anything else you got, you keep it inside. And so if somebody injures you, hurts you, I'm a man, I can't say that, so I'm going to just keep it, and my blood's going to boil forever. I'm at high blood pressure for a long time and take pills and my lantern and drink things to internalize what I got, because it can't come out. Whereas we need more what? We need more expression. Positive, life-affirming statements. Even in church, you should find somebody, and who can I make a positive, life-affirming statement to? Who can I encourage? Who can I say something good to? A lot of times in church, thank you, Deacon, people only say something that's negative to you. Didn't like that dress you had on today. That wasn't nice. Don't like how you did that. You looked at me and didn't speak. I don't like that. I don't do certain things. One time I preached a sermon, and I don't remember saying I preached a sermon, and I knew it was a good sermon, and somebody came to me and said, I don't like you put your hand in your pocket. I don't like how you do that. And I was thinking, I made all these points. And you just telling me you don't like I put my hand in my pocket. Because that's what happens sometimes. People will just give you the negative and not the positive life-affirming thing. But you can speak life to people. Speak positive things. Even as male, we need to speak what? More positive, life-affirming statements. See somebody, you can see somebody going the wrong path, tell them something positive about themselves. You know what you could be, you know what God's called you to be, you give them something positive. Feed them positivity. Then what's going to happen is the person's going to image of themselves. They may not even want to do right, they're going to stop doing right. They're going to see themselves with a different light. And if you see yourself in a different light, you'll start to act even better. When you see yourself as God's called me to such and such, you start to straighten up and act right. And so we want to affirm people and speak life to people. What's the whole thing with Haiti with giving money? Trying to give these people some dignity. Give them economic resources where we have an abundance of, and give them dignity. Give them shoes, give them clothing, give them an education. They might look in the mirror and stand up. You don't know what they could become. Who would have thought the president of the United States would be a man that was almost abandoned by his father, and he wound up becoming who? The president of the United States. You don't know what God can do with somebody's life. God can take somebody and he'll turn their life around. So we can't be quick to judge them. And so we talk about how it blesses the children. You can look at 48:15 when you get home. Another thing is about leaving a legacy. I spent a lot of time talking about leaving a legacy. The Father leaves a spiritual heritage for the children. There should be a heritage. In the Old Testament, there were three things left. You'd have a spiritual legacy, a heritage. You'd have a physical legacy, which is land you would be able to inherit and things that you'd be able to get. And he would also leave a name, was the third thing he would leave. Those three things behind the name. One, to be called by the name. That's why Jacob told his son, your two grandsons, Ephraim and Manasseh, they're going to become like my sons. They are my sons. I'm taking them from you. I'm adopting your grandsons, making them my sons, and they got the same rights to everything that my sons have. Because it was something to be called by that name. And you want to be called by what? That name. Talk about how to legitimize the children. You want to give them that name. Because something comes with that name when that name is attached. If I say the name Kennedy, you instantly think of, what's that name? Because the name has something attached to it. Even though they didn't always do everything right, the name has something to it. Martin Luther King, his name had something to it. The King name had something to it. The name had something to it. It's got a weight to it. And so what you want to do is your name should have a weight to it that you pass on to your children. We known in our family for XYZ, you can say. We known for prayer in this family. We a praying family, and God hears our prayers because we a praying family. In our family, we known for what? Excellent achievements and accomplishments, you can say. And as a member of this family, you want to achieve and accomplish great things. We courageous in our family. And in our family, you can be known for having some courage. So don't be fearful and don't be timid. You got to encourage. And that gives some level of weight to the child. Another thing he talks about how the father leaves a vision for the family to follow. Even when he's not there should be a vision left that the family should follow. The last thing I'm going to get to today is about setting the pattern. How the father sets the pattern for the family. I talked about before 2 weeks ago in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." What did Jesus come to do? A lot of things. You could list a multitude of things he came to do. But one of the aspects that he came to do is he came to give an example to emulate. Because Job had this testimony in the Old Testament: you don't know what it's like to be a man, and so you can't relate to me. He had to God. You don't know what it's like to be a man. And so God in the New Testament, Jesus came for a number of reasons: redemption of sins, deliverance, a whole reconciliation, whole number of reasons. But one of the things he came as well, it showed that God can relate to being a man because he put himself in the form of a man. That's Philippians 2:5. He humbled himself, he humiliated himself, and became a man. And he can relate to what we're going through, and he gave us a pattern to follow. How can I follow the pattern? Christ was tempted, and he rose above temptation, so when we're tempted, we can rise above temptation. The devil came and tempted him, and he didn't succumb. So when the devil comes and tempts you, you don't have to succumb. You can rise above and don't have to give in to it. So you get an example to emulate, and that's what the Father does. He gives an example to emulate. If you have a man in the house, and he's the father, and he's a faithful man, an honest man, a man of integrity, a man that gets up and goes to work, that's an example that your children can see. In Mr. Barthé's time, they saw the example of the father got up, went to work. You see that example. Today, a lot of young boys don't get to see that example. They don't see him going to work. They see him sometimes getting over on the system, or doing something illegal, or not working, living off the woman. And they just following the example. There should be something in a man where he's got to get up and work. Dig in knows what I'm talking about. There should be something. You can't just lie around the house all day and do nothing. A man got to get up and do some work. He got to get up and be productive. Because when you work, you feel better about yourself. You feel like I'm producing something. I'm doing something. A man wants to be proud of something. He don't want to live in the house and say, she paying the mortgage here. He want to live in the house and say, I'm paying the mortgage here, taking care of these things. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I'm making sure these things are done. Because a man wants to be a provider. And that's the example that needs to be set. So the young men need to see what the example of a father doing what? Setting the pattern for them to emulate. Taking care of his family. Not abandon them. Even when things get tough, sticking it out. Because in life, things are going to get difficult. You have some good days, but some bad days do come. You have times, everybody in life, when you feel like I should just give up. I shouldn't keep going on. This is too difficult for me. I don't know if I should keep on. Maybe I should just cash my chips in and give up right now. But then another voice comes to you, and he tells you, I'll neither forsake you or fail you. God's not going to give up on you. And if God didn't give up on you, don't give up on yourself. Because God won't give up on you. You might get a little more hope tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Because sometimes you just got to hold on and see what the end's going to bring. Imagine if Paul had given up. I wouldn't have these good books of the Bible to read. Imagine if Matthew and Mark and Luke didn't come back. I wouldn't have these books of the Bible I could read. Imagine if John, when they put him on the island, had given up. I wouldn't have the book of Revelation to comfort myself. Imagine if Job had given up on God. I wouldn't know that even though I can lose something, God can give me double and multiply what I got. Imagine if Abraham had given up on God and didn't trust him. Wouldn't see the great nation of Israel to this day. So I got to what? Believe that God can do what he said he's going to do. So you don't give up. You give an example that you're going to follow through. Be courageous to the end. And you just keep on walking. I don't care if you're 40, 50, 60, or 70. Keep on walking. Keep on trusting. And you keep on going.